Hello, and this is Exposition. On this episode is Rich Thomas, and we're talking about Temple Tattoo, their recent renovations, and their staff, and we're going to see this one get a tattoo, so stay tuned. Staying with us, and you're watching Exposition. This is Valerie Thomas, who does the artisan shop. So what is going on this month in March?
Well, this coming Saturday, downtown Gallipolis, we're going to have our annual fundraiser, the St. Patrick's Day Cultural Festival and Parade, and we're going to have war reenactments. We're going to have performers on the stage, singing groups and things like that, and we're going to have a Little Miss and Mr. Leprechaun costume contest. And parade starts at 1, and please come and join us. We'll have inflatables, and we'll have one food vendor, but you can also support our local restaurants and such.
Okay, so that's this weekend, Saturday. At noon or 1?
The festival starts at noon, and it goes till 4.
And the parade comes through at 1.
Comes through at 1, that's right. And if you want to be involved, we still have time, last minute entries, etc. So come join us.
Well, today we're talking about tattoos, tattoo shop, and stuff, and we have today with us Rich Thomas,
woohoo,
who is the owner of Temple Tattoo, Bickney Supply, which supplies tattoo machines and ink and whatever you need to run a tattoo shop. So, welcome, Rich.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming.
So, tell me a little bit about your background. How long have you been into the tattoo world and doing this sort of thing? And how long has the shop been open?
I opened the Temple in 1996. So, and I've been around tattooing since right after I got out of high school, which is quite a while ago.
Yeah.
Early 80s. So I started getting tattooed soon as I graduated from high school. Moved to New York City, worked with rock bands and stuff, started getting tattooed, and
so cool.
So when did tattoos change? And what was the attitude of tattoos in the 80s versus now? Or has there been?
If by the mid 80s, I was fully sleeved, you know. So if I'd come home to visit my folks and stuff, people might grab their kids if I was in Kroger's or something.
Yeah.
So, and now, you know, you're just another tattooed schlep going down the aisle and nobody even pays attention to you. So.
Yeah. I think it changed about 10, 15 years ago.
Maybe a little more than that.
Yeah.
20 probably. By the mid 90s.
Now there's probably more women that get tattooed than guys, you think, or no?
I don't know if I'd speculate on that.
No?
It's always been all walks of life has been my experience. It's just people were maybe quieter about it, and now it's, you know, TV shows and, you know, rock stars, sports stars, you know, all kinds of people getting tattoos. It's just more popular than it was, more acceptable too.
I think it was a stigma, I thought, growing up. You know, you thought either they were rough and tough people or from the military or something. Yeah. And then that changed when you realized they're artists and this is artwork, and it's beautiful.
And there was a certain percentage of the population that always viewed it that way, I think. You know?
Yes.
And some people, myself included, I think I had a desire to be tattooed from an early age.
Wow.
What was your first, I guess, introduction to it? Just seeing an old man with it on his sleeve, or what was it?
No, necessity being the mother of invention. You know, people would take thread and wrap it around a needle and hand poke stuff. And I thought, well, if I split a dowel rod, I could stack a few needles up together and wrap thread around them. So,
Oh my God.
So you were improvising.
Self-inflicted girlfriend's initials when I was like in 7th grade. You know,
Really? What?
since been covered up, but.
Oh my gosh. That's
There's
so
all
wild.
those good decisions way back then.
Yeah. And I tattooed one of my little buddies, which generated one of the a pretty enthusiastic ass whipping for me. So it was a short-lived early tattoo career there that I would return to later on. You know?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, so you've gotten done with a renovation of your building.
Mm-hmm.
And we have
Gorgeous.
some, in which we could talk over some footage of that. It's on DDR1. There we go. There's a shop on 2nd Street, or
2nd Avenue, yeah.
in Gallipolis.
Yeah. I painted that sign up on the top.
That's awesome.
There's some of our body jewelry and T-shirts.
Nice. Gotta get one.
Some merch.
Yep.
That's flash art. So if you want that, you can pick it out and I guess get a tattoo of that or not. Yeah.
Examples of stuff that we could do. There's my sterilization area. And you notice the hand washing instructions above the sinks and whatnot. There's some of Gabe's sculptures. That's a student here at Rio.
Inks.
Yep.
I've asked before what inks are made of, and that's kind of a secret.
There's a whole list of dry pigments that are safe for tattooing, but those pigments may be used in lots of other things as well.
And transfer machines.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it looks like a very clean environment, and you have sterilization and hands-free sinks and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So almost like a doctor's office with art.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, do you do
Very much like that.
Yeah. Do you do piercing also?
Yes, we do.
Okay, that was part of that cabinet of things at the front.
Yeah, we're a full service shop, and so anyway, it's been exciting to renovate the building. I've wanted to do it for years, so it's fresh, clean.
It looks very cool. Very cool.
It's hard not to smile when I walk in there.
Yeah, I bet.
So how many people do you have working there? And we'll go through some pictures here of the different people.
Okay, well, we have Curtis Lane, who's been at the shop for many years now. Gabe Richmond, who's a student here at Rio, works there, and Panther Shaw is our most recent addition. She's been there a little over a year now. There's Curtis.
And a few examples of his work.
Yeah, a couple examples of his work coming up.
There we go. Yes, that's a Spartan.
Yeah. He does beautiful black and gray stuff. Here's like kind of a horror movie sleeve that he's working on.
One of my favorite ones.
Oh.
A Mickey Mouse that he did. Very well done, if I may say so. And there's Gabe.
He's been on the show.
Yep.
Jinx.
So, and very talented, not just with tattooing.
And that was kind of a
I love
new
this
style.
one here. Look at the musculature on that.
Oh, man.
And of course,
Nice.
David Bowie, our star man.
Yeah.
And there's Panther Shaw.
There.
Where's she coming from?
She grew up in this area.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I believe that's a Bingles tattoo.
Nice.
A skull with a headdress. And some of her artwork. She draws constantly. She's always working in her books and stuff.
Nice.
And there's yours truly, painting our temple tattoo sign up on the wall.
Did you do that freehand?
Nah, could have cheated.
Oh.
The main part of it was stencil.
Okay.
And then this would be an example. The kind of work I like to do sort of related to the Ohio Tattoo History Museum. I like doing bold traditional images.
That's beautiful.
So that's a dragon tattoo I did a while back. Can't go wrong with a skull and crossbones. That's on That's on the back of a hand of a tattooer from Chillicothe, I think. And I did this on a tattooer from Columbus. Classic.
I guess it's good when
thing.
a tattooer asks you to tattoo them.
Yeah, it's kind of nice.
Very
Yeah.
nice.
Kind of a good endorsement.
Oh,
And then I like to do watercolors, but I try to stay kind of true to old school traditional stuff, so.
Cool.
With a
Poster
modern bend, because
girls.
like, got the black girl on the left, white girl in the middle, Latino on the side.
Nice. Multicultural.
Maybe a little bit of a
hey.
twist on an old theme, you know.
We're all about that.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So.
All right, so where was I going? Where did these people learn how to tattoo? There's not a tattoo school. You apprentice under people?
In my opinion, an apprenticeship's the best way to learn how to tattoo. There are tattoo schools. I would say buyer beware. You know.
I did not know that.
Yeah, usually it's somebody after a short quarter than a long dollar.
Yeah.
You know, in for the quick burn. That's just my opinion.
So intern or
An apprenticeship.
Apprentice.
You know. So
Yes.
Curtis worked with me, and Tom probably spent more time with him than I did. Tom used to work for me, and so he learned in Temple. Gabe is a second generation tattooer. His dad's the guy who opened up tattooing in Portsmouth, Ohio. So he was tattooing in his dad's shop when he was like 16 years old. So, I mean, he's been tattooing for a while, and he's had occasions to work with some pretty talented people. And then after he got involved with going to school here at Rio, he approached me and wanted to work with us. So we're very pleased to have him. Panther got off to kind of a rough start. I forget where she started, and then I referred her to a friend of mine at Hellbilly Tattoo, and she worked with him for a couple years and then came back to this area. And I asked her if she'd like to work in the shop because I had a spot for her.
Okay.
So, and then I still do some tattooing, mostly by appointment, because I stay pretty busy between the Ohio Tattoo Museum, my supply company, which also has a little sister store in Columbus now.
nice. Where's
So I'm
that?
in Columbus.
And the recent trip to England?
Yeah. So
Did you check out tattoo parlors there?
a few.
Did you?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, well, you can write off your trip then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably
See,
will.
That's what I'm saying.
But but anyway, it's been really exciting to renovate the shop and an opportunity to make some of the things the way I always wanted it. The hands-free stainless sinks is an example.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah.
Now, if you do want to see the show about which we did about the Ohio Tattoo Museum, go to Rye Grain Cable Access and look it up. It's one of our probably maybe a little earlier or mid-range shows. So look that up. It's a good show. So Valerie wanted to get a tattoo. So in order to show you what the process is, if you've never gotten one before, we went in last night. So she's got a fresh ink, and no, we don't have Zoom.
Yeah.
So we did a tattoo last night and documented it. So let's roll that beautiful tattoo footage, and we'll talk along with it. Okay. After you draw the stuff, or they bring it into you, do you usually touch up their drawings, or would you just take their drawings and go with it?
Valerie gave me an idea what she wanted, and at first I wasn't getting on the same page with her.
I'm sorry.
And then, but she did provide me with a logo that part of this was taken from, and after that we didn't have too hard a time getting together on it. So I did redraw it. Usually I'll redraw things. Some things no, but.
So you put it through a thermofax machine.
After you draw it, yeah.
Yeah.
And that creates a stencil, which is a template you can easily lay on to the skin once it's prepped and ready to go.
And you have to sign a waiver, is it, or just permission?
It's just a release form that explains, you know, what's going to happen, and, you know.
You agree to it.
Right. And health departments usually require that so that you're making sure that you don't tattoo minors and things like that.
This is setting up the gun, right?
I prefer to call them machines, but yeah, I'm setting it up.
Make sure you eat before you get a tattoo.
It's a good idea.
Yes.
Have a meal. Sometimes a little orange juice or something sweet helps.
And this is probably one of the tattoo machines you make?
Both of them are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just joking. I was like, just joking.
Just a little giddy beforehand.
So.
And now it's time to place the transfer on the skin.
Yeah.
So you can.
Well, I'm prepping it. Here I'm just shaving and cleaning it up with
shaving those hairy
some
arms.
tincture of green soap and water mixed together and give it a wipe down.
I didn't even know you were I wasn't watching.
What could go wrong if you had a hairy arm that you tattooed? Just ingrown hairs, just shoving those things back in there, or what?
Rare for that to happen.
Yeah. Every time I've seen somebody, it's been shaved. But
We were sitting down at first, and then I stood up to do the application, right?
Yeah, I was having trouble getting it centered on your arm.
My arm's a little wonky, so it's not like, you know.
well, the flesh and the skin move around depending on what position you're in. And so you want to get it centered depending on how you are at one particular point. And there are the transfers on the
There we
skin.
go.
Now that would be a temporary tattoo.
Yes,
Yep.
and we moved it around a little,
Yeah.
but that's the great thing, because Rich said anywhere you want it, and if I can move it.
You could faintly see where the other ones were. They were all
Like
just,
doing carpeting, you want to, you know, make sure you get it right.
Yeah. It
And
was
what's this thing adjust?
Oh,
That's just a clever little power supply that we sell through the supply company. Now,
That's a
power
fixed switch.
supplies
Wow.
20 years ago would have been the size of a lunchbox.
oh my goodness.
So now it's just that little disc that was lit up there. That's my power
Is that
supply.
the ink in the little?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
And you can, Vaseline?
I wasn't watching. Oh, now
I
I
use
get to
A&D
see it.
A&D ointment
Okay.
as like for the process. You want a little bit of lubrication and something that'll soften the skin a little bit. Also helps with when you're wiping. That it does. If you dry wipe, it can be uncomfortable for the client.
Okay.
That is happening so fast.
Yeah, you didn't watch this, did you?
No.
You were like looking the other way.
Kelsey was sitting, and I was looking at Kelsey.
So
It's like watching yourself get a shot.
Yeah, I can't do it.
and it's very satisfying to be able to make the tools that I work with too. You know.
So it's all yours.
Yeah.
You can see she's not even looking at it. And a
Just
lot of people would
talking
say,
as
how
usual.
much pain are you in? Because a lot of people are like, oh, I don't know if I could do it because it would hurt too much. And I know different places on the body hurt different, but how would you describe your experience?
Well, I had Tom from Temple 8 years ago-ish tattoo Celtic cross on my left shoulder blade.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I would say that the forearm, inside the forearm's a lot more sensitive.
Mm-hmm.
Is that what you would say, that
Yeah.
skin there? Because it's like thicker on your back, isn't it?
Yeah, I
But-
find, sorry to interrupt you,
No.
but I find that like parts of the body that are protected by other parts of the body are more sensitive. So like outer extremities, like the outside of your calves are easy because you bump them all the time. Same with the
Yeah.
outside of the arms, and then you get to the inside where it's protected and it's going to be more tender.
Right.
Rib cage is pretty nasty. I can speak from personal experience there.
Yeah, that's.
Well,
So how would you? What did it feel like?
It felt like someone was like scraping me in a very, I don't know, it just, I pass out when they take my blood, but I didn't feel faint or anything. So, see?
You look pretty relaxed there.
See, I'm fine. Oh, I found out I had the camera on me. Whoops-a-daisy. Yeah, it was, it just felt like a little bit of scratching. That's what it felt like. But it was a little more sensitive than my back.
Mm-hmm.
But I could stand it, and I'd pass out easily, and I was fine. So I highly recommend it. And
So if Valerie can do it, anybody can.
yes, that's the truth. And look how he's Rich is
The hard
like an
part's-
expert at straight lines. Look at that.
The hard part is probably the skin moving around. If you're trying to go on a straight line, it stretches this way, it stretches that way, and getting the skin stretched evenly to get a straight line, would that be one of the tricky parts?
You need to stretch the skin when you're tattooing. It's just it's part of the medium, so after years of experience. And then Val sat really well for me yesterday.
Wasn't
So
flinching or
sometimes you get
anything.
people that are
Thanks.
squirmers,
Yeah.
and you have to become creative to, it's not necessarily the tattooer's fault,
Right.
but you have to get creative with being able to kind of fix things up or something,
I really felt like it went really quickly. It was like so, and you wiping, you need to wipe to continue working, but that was kind of nice. I mean, just,
Good.
in
Soothing,
between.
maybe?
Yeah,
Mhm.
in between the, it's just scratching, that's all. Scratching with ink. That's
So you went over this, I think, 3 times, and then touched up a little bit on the end?
I was just, if I had it to do again, I probably would have used a larger needle group, but I thought we were going to be doing line work and shading.
Oh, okay.
So some of those lines, the reason I went over it a second time was just to broaden the line a little
Okay.
bit.
Oh,
you
it's
know.
so perfect. It is so perfect.
I guess that's cleaning it?
Yeah, rinsing the pigment out of the tube. Unrelated to all this other stuff, but I would like to point out, you can see I have barrier bag on the water bottle. I've got a bag on the machine head, a bag on the clip cord, barrier
Very-
tape on anything I've touched that I would touch during the process has a barrier on it.
Very sanitary.
And you change
So-
that with every tattoo?
Oh yeah, all that stuff goes right into the trash bin or a sharps container.
And that's the finished product.
Yes.
I believe.
It's beautiful. It's perfect. I love it. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
It's perfect.
Thank you for trusting me to do it.
Oh my gosh.
And then you put some
I'm honored.
ointment on top of it, and then bandage it up.
Yep.
And then you take care of it like you would like any basic scrape. Just keep it clean and out of the sun.
Yeah, specific stuff for tattoos. There's not too much to it. Wash it gently with soap and water 2 or 3 hours after you get it. Pat it or blot it dry the whole time it's healing. And then, like I explained to Valerie last night, when you put the ointment on, you should think of it as moisturizing the tattoo. You don't want to glob it on like I have there for the bandage. And that's a common mistake people make, is putting too much ointment on it. You don't want it wet. Then it can attract
Stuff will stick to
stuff
it.
will stick to it. So you want to think of it as moisturizing it. And
So
then,
like you were saying, don't touch it, don't
Yeah.
play with it, just wash it
Don't
at least
scrub it with a
once a
scrubby.
day.
No.
If it gets dirty, wash it, and then moisturize it with what you prefer. Are we allowed to say brand names?
yeah, I think so.
Aquifer.
I like Aquifer. Yeah, that works good.
Aquifer.
Make sure you
or
wash your hands before you mess with it.
wash your hands, and then it turns out perfect like that. I know you can't see, but I can. It's perfect. Oh, it was awesome.
So cool.
And I know somebody else who's going to get the exact same tattoo.
Cool. Anytime he's ready.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anything else, advice you would like to tell people? I'm sure you get a lot of people that have the same problems. They come in. What should they do before they come see you?
You know, tattoos are like anything else. You get what you pay for, you know, so the satisfaction of quality will always outlive the satisfaction of a cheap price. So.
Yeah, because it's basically forever.
Yeah, or for as long as we're here.
Right, as long as you last.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
So.
Well, yeah.
Unless you get made into something, I don't know.
Don't. Maybe. Oh, you know, because they do that.
What?
You know, but that's not tattooing. That's you know, they can put your ashes in.
Okay.
Like Courtney does that. She puts
Oh, right.
ashes in, like, you know,
And
glass.
somebody could, I guess, save. I guess you could have that in your will. Save my tattoo, and you could hang it on the wall or something.
There's an outfit
Like
now
leather.
that will
No.
tan it and frame it.
No.
I kind of figured.
There
Yeah.
is. Dag.
Interesting stuff. Okay.
That's a 70s word, isn't it?
What?
What's that?
Dag.
Yeah, I haven't heard that for a while. All right. Well, thanks for being on. And
Thanks for having me.
looks like a great place to get a tattoo. And thank you for watching Exposition, and we will see you next month.